Welcome back to the world that was, and today's battle, which is a sort of 2,400 point battle between the Lizardmen and the Vampire Counts. Say sort of, as we are playing Storm of Magic rules today. So, amongst other changes, that firstly means that we each get 25% allowance on top of our normal points to spend on various things that can be creatures or magic items or etc. So we've got an extra 600 points each, which basically takes us up to a 3,000 point game. So you'll have seen some of the montage at the start. We've got wyverns, trolls, there's a couple of giants down here in with the Vampire Counts as well, and some cool magic items. Other changes for Storm of Magic, we roll 4d6 for the Winds of Magic, each magic phase, and there's also a little spinner, which will depend which law is in ascendancy, and then there's bonuses to cast from that law, and also other sort of minor laws that are associated with it. The mission is the Mad Mage of the Drakwold Downs, who is being represented by this chap here. So Storm of Magic, again, it's all about arcane fulcrums. We have got three. The one that's bang in the middle, occupied by the Mad Mage. One for the Lizardmen down there, and this one down here for the Vampire Counts. And depending how many of those you control versus how many your opponent controls, you get additional sort of bonuses and access to casting other spells as well. With regards to this specific mission today, it's all about, at the end of 6 turns, who controls this arcane fulcrum. It will move about during the battle, and if the Mad Mage controls it, then he wins the game. That is a quick overview of the mission and how Storm Magic works, and we'll run you through both the armies. Whizzing you through the Lizardman army, we've got 10 skinks out on the flank, nice big unit of cold ones. Also in there is a Saurus Scar veteran. He has got a great weapon. He's got the special Sacred Stegodon helm, which gives him some extra toughness and armor save, and he's got one of the special Storm of magic items, the Wind Catcher Prism. Depending which law of magic we spin for, him and his unit are going to get various different bonuses, which is quite cool. Got a unit of 10 more skink skirmishers just in front of this big block of Temple Guard, and Lord Croak, there he is, who is the army general today. The side of them, we've got one of the sort of bonus units using up the 600 points. That's a unit of 6 River Trolls. And on this Arcane Fulcrum is the level 2 Skink Priest. So he controls that Fulcrum now. Only one model can ever control it. If it comes up with assault in them and stuff, we'll talk you through that. Got a big unit of Saurus. And down here is a Razor Gon, with his handlers. Some skinks, and another skink special character whose name has completely escaped me. Tito Eco, I'm being told. That's who he is. We've got 10 more skink skirmishers, and a wyvern who is using up some more of the Storm of Magic allowance, and he's got Flaming Breath upgrade as well, which basically takes the Lizardmen up to 600 points on the nose for their Storm of Magic. Looking at the Vampire Counts, got Black Coach out on the flank and a Vargulf next to them. Unit of 4 Vargeist just behind. There's also the first of the Storm of Magic items. Where is he? There. There's a Saber Tusk just hidden in behind that house. Got another one of the Storm of Magic monsters from that allowance, which is a giant. Got 20 zombies, and there's a Necromancer in there. Got a big old block of ghouls with just a vampire out on this side, isn't it? Yep. But the big man himself, Manfred, down here. Got another Necromancer who's currently occupying that Arcane Fulcrum. Some Black Knights, and using up a bit more of the Storm Magic is a Bone Grinder Giant, who's like a giant on steroids, and some Direwolves. Just before we roll for the first turn, Vanguard moves have been done. The skink character Tito Eco lets me give D3 units Vanguard, so I managed to give it to the Cold Ones and the unit of Saurus. And the Direwolves down here have Vanguarded forward as well. In this scenario, Lizardmen go first unless Vampire Counts can roll a 6. So, no. Lizardmen are going first. Lizardman, turn 1. We just have the one charge, which is the wyvern coming down into these dire wolves they can only hold. And on a 10, I comfortably make that one in. We'll get the rest of the movement done, and then we'll come back to show you the first of these new exciting magic phases. Movement for the Lizardmen is complete. Most things have gone forward. Trolls did pass their stupidity test, thanks to Lord Croak being just down beside them. So we're in the magic phase. We roll 4d6 to see how many dice we get. I get a total of them, and wow, okay. So I'm going to get 19 to 10 to 11 to try and dispel, and then we also have a spin on this. So give it a flick. We'll see which law is in ascendancy. Death. Okay, that's good for you. And then these ones here, it shows you which ones are also in effect. So death. We've also got the Tomb King's ones, high magic, and law of vampires. So great for these guys. Not so much for these. Also in the magic phase, this chap, the Mad Mage, casts a spell on the nearest unit, which is going to be the Trolls. He casts one of the Cataclysm spells from Law of Tzeentch, and it's a horrible 3d6, strength 2d6, flaming attacks onto a unit with regen. So I planned that really, really well. So we'll let him cast his spell, and then I'm going to have to use some power dice to dispel it. These are all the spells that I know. I've got a Law Master with my skink character, level 2 for beasts, and then I get access to all the Cataclysm spells for the different laws that I've got access to as well. So I have a lot of spells to choose from. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use some dice trying to dispel this one from hitting down onto the Trolls. It's cast on a 20, so Croak is going to try and dispel it. 10, 16, 17, 21. He has managed to dispel it. Moving on to my spells proper, I'm going to start with Chain Lightning from here, going down into the Black Knights. Cast on a 15. There's no bonuses from the law, so that's good. That's a pretty good roll. 10, 19, 22. He's only level 2, so it's 24 that's cast on.
Dispel scroll.
Oh, using a dispel scroll straight away. Okay, I've still got 10 power dice left to try and cast some spells with. Might try and use one of the cantrips, which we all know from my portal, to get him off there to save these guys. And we're aiming for that portal at the end of the day. We're going to try and cast Magical Jewel, which is from one Arcane Fulcrum to another. So Skink is trying to have a go with the Mad Mage. It's cast on a 3+. So we've easily got that off on 11, 13. This guy obviously can't dispel, but Jay can try and protect him if he wants to. If he loses, then basically we roll off to see whether he gets knocked off that fulcrum. And the rules for this guy, if ever he leaves the fulcrum, he dies. So it will be end of him.
Manfred's going to try and dispel.
Trying to beat 13. 13, yeah. Successfully protected the Mad Mage. For the last spell, I'm going to try one of the new Cataclysm spells. So there's 3 different types. There's Presence, Equilibrium, and Dominance, depending on how many of the portals you control. At the minute, we have Equilibrium, because I control the same number as Jay, which also means we also have Presence. For Dominance, we have to have more than the other player. So this is cast on a 20+, and it is Hunter's Moons, which basically means every single unit in this army, friendly units, get +1 strength, +1 toughness, and swift stride. So this is cast on a 27, which is pretty good. The rules for Storm of Magic is that a double 6 is a miscast, but it isn't Irresistible Force for any of the Cataclysm spells, just because they're so powerful that you just throw the dice at them and hope for double 6s. So it is not irresistibly cast, but I have miscast, and because I'm on one of these Arcane Fulcrums, that does not bode well for him. So Jay's throwing 6 dice to try and stop. Don't think so with that roll. 23. No, so it is cast. Again, you can't irresistibly dispel with 2 6s either for the Cataclysm ones. So, +1 strength, toughness, and swift stride across my entire army, which is nice. But it's time to work out what has happened to this dude. We've rolled for the miscast. It was an 11, which means this guy lost D3 wizard levels. He only had 2 and they've both gone. He's now level 0. Forgot that awesome spell, and Savage Beast was the other one that he forgot too. He's still got a few more. Now it's time to see what the miscast for the Arcane Fulcrum is, which is a separate one. So this is just 2d6. Let's see what happens to the Fulcrum. It's an 8, which is called...
Rah.
Ra. Okay. Ra means that little skink priest suddenly gets real mad. He's forced to leave the Arcane Fulcrum. All of his characteristics go up by D3. So they're all up by 3, except for attacks, which is D6 plus 3, or random attacks D6 plus 3, and his leadership is now leadership 1. He's also got Unbreakable, Frenzy, Hatred, and all kinds of stuff. And at the start of every magic phase, I roll a dice. On a 6, he becomes back to the skink. Anything else, he stays like this. Can't use any magic items, so the Dispel Scroll he's carrying is also defunct at the minute. So that's what can happen in Storm of Magic phases. Big spells, big problems when they go wrong. Okay, Vampire Counts turn 1. Do we have any charges?
Yep, the Bone Rider's charging the Wyvern.
Yeah, hold there.
Giants go try a long charge into your River Trolls.
Yeah, they will also be holding.
And the Vargeists going into these Skink Skirmishers.
Ooh, okay, I will do a stand and shoot with my javelins. I've got 10 to throw at you, which is possibly a few hits there.
Kills one.
Poisoned, so that's 1 down. Okay, no panic because we're all undead. Let's see if they can still make all their charges. This guy cannot fail. So do the giant first.
Need the 10.
Ooh, no. So he's on 5.
Yeah.
18, yeah, they should make that in as well. Cool, we'll get those moved. Let move the rest of the army. Come back for another big Storm of Magic. Movement complete. Charges all gone in. Black Knights have moved forwards. Sabertusk has gone round over here. Black Coach and the Vargeist Gulf has gone in as well. Okay, so roll for the Winds of Magic. Okay, so we're on 10, 13 in total. Not huge. And do you want to give the magic dial a flick? What's in Ascendancy this time? Fire, which is also Plague and Ruin, Dark Magic, and Law of Nurgle. So nothing that's going to affect us this time. So in the magic phase, I've already used 5 of my Dispel dice to stop his horrible Witchfire spell going off and blasting those River Trolls. Means I've only got 4 dice left to Jay's 30 or 14 now because he channeled as well. Means that hopefully you guys are going to get to see some of these awesome Storm of Magic spells because there's not going to be a whole lot I can do about them with my Dispel Scroll now being a stupid Croxigore. So, what are you starting off with?
We'll start with Curse of Years from Manfred Ontiosaurus.
Okay. That is atrocious. Not cast. So much for that awesome magic. Trying a cantrip now from the Necromancer. Magical Jewel. Seeing whether we can get rid of the Mad Mage. 8. It is cast. I do not have very many dice, and I am not wasting any to keep that fool alive. So now, shall I roll for him?
Yep, 2d6 for him.
And is it just the total wins?
2d6 plus leadership.
Okay. He got a 5, you got an 8.
I have 1.
So the Mad Mage is gone. That's some bragging rights for the Necromancer, who has at least got the Magic Mage there, the Mad Mage killed. And it means now that with holding 1 and 2, they are dominant, which opens up the potential for the really, really, really horrible Cataclysm spells. With the dominance that the Vampire Counts now have, they're trying the Dance of Despair. It's cast on a 25 plus, it's horrific, it makes every single one of my units weapon skill, ballistic skill, in movement and initiative and leadership 1. And wizards can't cast spells. That's horrific. It is cast.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Excellent. Having occupied the fulcrum, failing to cast the big one, we're now trying to do unbind monsters on the river trolls. If it's cast, they're just unbound and something crazy might happen to them. It is cast, that's all your dice, isn't it?
It is.
So I'm going to throw 4, because somehow I've not needed to use them. That one's quite cocked. Whoops, that was a 3, so that's 10, 12 to your... or 16, yeah, so not cast. So it's 2 turns in a row where we've not actually had a huge amount of magic from the new Crazy Storm of Magic. Moving into combat, the Vargeists have destroyed the Skinks. 1 was left to turn and run away. They haven't quite made it into the Temple Guard on the overrun. Coming down onto this one, the Wyvern gets to attack first, hitting on 3s. 2, and with the +1 strength from that awesome spell, I am strength 7, 4s. 2 wounds through, leaving him with 8 wounds still to go. He has his own big chart like a giant, but bigger. Let's see what he's doing. It's a 4 on a bigger things chart. Headbutting me. Okay. And, automatically 1 wound, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm now dazed and can't fight back, but I've already fought. So...
Thunderstomp you?
Oh yeah, because he's so big he can thunderstomp anything that doesn't also have the rule of being super big. So, haha, there we are.
2s.
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wounds that go through. I think I'm dead. Start of Lizardmen turn 2. Your eyes are not deceiving you. That middle fulcrum has moved. We should have done it at the start of the first turn. We didn't. We just deciding it was just settling down at that point. But now at the start of each turn, it scatters and moves. So it's moved. It got a hit on Vampire Counts turn 1, but we didn't do it at the start of Lizardmen turn 1. But anyway, we've caught up with it now. It's moved slightly across this way. Got a number of charges that we're going to do. So we've got the Temple Guard and everybody going down into these 3. If I can pass my stupidity test, which I'll take in a second, the Trolls are going to go down into the standard giant, and we're going to try the Saurus coming a long way down here into all of these ghouls. Oh yeah, and I forgot, thank you, my final charge, seeing as he is now an absolute beast, he's going to charge this fulcrum. The rules for assaulting the fulcrums, only 1 model can attack, so it's not like a normal building. Only 1 can attack, so he kind of purpose-built for trying to take this this guy out. So we're going to charge that as well. So we'll do the stupidity test first for the Trolls, who have passed. So Temple Guard can't fail. The River Trolls, 8. We'll double check. They've hopefully made it. The Skink Mad Croxagore dude, he's a Swift Stride as well. Yeah. In fact, they have Swift Stride as well, don't they? So we're on an extra one. Yeah, they've easily made it. Swift Stride on the Saurus. No, they needed an 11, so they're just going forwards 4. And the Croxagore, skink thing, he's on movement 9 now, so 18 inches. He should have made it into that one as well. Movement complete for the Lizardmen. Everything's sort of surged forward, really. If the charge has gone in, we've turned around to face that annoying Sabertusk. Exposed our back to the nasty monster up on the hill, but there we go. Everything else has come forward. These guys trying to be a roadblock for the Black Knights and just get out of front arc from the giant. Winds of Magic. Let's see how strong they're blowing this time. Okay, 10, 16, 18. We'll give it another spin. Come on, one that's going to affect some of our armies this time. Law of Life. Okay, and Life also affects Ruin, Dark, and Nurgle. So no impact still from that. Starting off the magic, we're going to try Chain Lightning again, coming down onto this Fulcrum. It is cast 10, 16, 18, 20. Yep. Gonna let it go. Okay, so D6, strength 6 hits coming onto that Necromancer for 5. That's 3. He does get a 3-up ward save while he's on the Fulcrum, one of the rules and benefits of being on it. So he takes 1 wound. And on a 3+, it will now skip down onto this unit, which it does. So D6 on that one for just 2. That is 2. And on a 3+, it will skip, going on to this unit, which it does not. Continuing at the magical barrage down onto this arcane fulcrum, we're trying a Uranon's Thunderbolt for the D6, strength 6, same as chain lightning, but it doesn't jump. Ooh, he's cast that one. The irresistible only applies, or doesn't apply to when you're on the fulcrums, not down here. So that one is successfully cast. D6 is 3. That's 3. We're just looking for 1 or 2, please. Yes. Okay. We're at least taking him off of fulcrum, although you are still dominant, and I have nothing. Now it's time to see what he's done to himself. Oh no, it's a 4. Absolutely decimated his skink unit with the impact of that explosion. We also lost 1 handler from the Razor Don down there. The important one, 1, 2, 3, is destroyed. Ooh, he's alive, but we lose D6 dice. With the final 5 dice, we're going to try one of the cantrips, the Scroll of Unbinding one. We're going to try and unbind this scary giant down here. I don't think I've got much chance. Today's got more than double the dice and a level 4, but for goodness sake. So how the unbinding works is you roll a d6 to see what happens to them. It doesn't just destroy them and take them off the table. We rolled a 2, which means he now has Frenzy. So I've miscast myself and made an even angrier Bone Grinder Giant. And in terms of what the miscast is, oh, it's an 8. Okay, I think that's going to be the end of his skink unit, but we'll get that resolved. And then there's a little bit of shooting to do down there into a Saber Tusk, and a little bit here into Black Knights. Temple Guard lost 3 of their own, but then butchered down the nasty vampire counts in front of them and have surged forward. Brings us down to this combat here. The giant is going first. Let's see what attack he does. It's a 6.
Headbutt.
Headbutt. A single wound inflicted on one of my guys, but doesn't allow armor saves, but it does allow regens, which is failed. So you've done 1 wound on them, and I'm going to get quite a few attacks back. 15 attacks backs coming in, not electing to vomit. He doesn't have any armor, and I'm more likely to get the hits if I roll for them nicely. 4s to wound him or kill him. That's not bad.
1 wound left.
Oh, 5. Okay. He is stubborn though, so he's unlikely to be going anywhere. But he is. Okay. He's going to roll now to see whether he falls over. So on a 1, he...
I've tested before the break test.
Oh, okay, well, we'll roll it now anyway. No, he hasn't fallen over. How far does he go? 6. He's caught. Bit of poetic license upon this arcane fulcrum. Angry skink, stroke Coxagore dude, has swung with all of his frenzy hatred, managed to get 4 wounds through. Necromancer does still have the 3-up ward save for being on there though. Oh, he only fails 1. We'll let him do his 1 attack back, but it's a 4, it's a hit, but not a wound. And due to the unstable rule and having lost that combat, that Necromancer crumbles. But old Coxagore Skink Dude cannot get in because he is currently not a wizard, and arcane fulcrums can only be occupied by wizards. Vampire counts, turn 2, any charges?
The Black Coach is charging in to the skirmishers there, and the Knights charging into the skirmishers up there.
Okay, I will try and stand and shoot with both. There's a terror test for these ones first, which is 7. Charges have gone in. We did actually manage to kill 1 to a standard shoot down here. They fled a long way after failing their terror test. Not really any of the movement, just this dude flying around the back. This moved again, as it is wont to do at the start of each turn, coming directly towards the vampire counts, meaning that this vampire's managed to jump back on top of it. Takes us into the Winds of Magic. We've got this time 5, 8, 10. Let's give a little spin of the old wheel as well, see which law is in ascendancy. Hopefully it's one that's going to be relevant this time. Beasts. Okay, that would affect me if I wasn't a Coxagore. Great Moor, High Magic, Wild. So again, sadly, nothing yet. Starting off the magic phase. What are we doing?
Gaze of Nagash on Tito Eco.
Okay. 7, 11, it's cast. I'll try and use 2 to stop you. Nope. And that's 2d6 and no more dispels from Croak. Only 5.
That's randomised, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll work out how these are going to be and then we'll roll the wounds. Only 1 skink was killed there, but we also got a wound through on Tito Eco Disco. 5 up ward to keep him alive. No, he dies, leaving him with just Croak left. It is going to be a panic test. Oh, for goodness sake, stand up, man, on this last remaining skink. He's fine. Continuing the magic phase, tried a Curse of Years down on the Saurus, but managed to irresistibly dispel it. It means I've got no dice left to dispel with. Jay's still got a few left to cause me some pain. Going with a Spirit Leech now, down onto their skink. Mad skink.
It's cast.
It is cast, nothing I can do about that.
So, roll a d6 and add a leech of 1.
6.
12.
I lose 6 wounds. I'm gone. With the 6 wounds inflicted, due to the law attribute, Jay managed to get 3 more dice back, giving him 4 more dice to keep casting with. Also, we'll just comment while we remember that over the 2 turns, the Black Coach has now fully powered up, which in Storm Magic is hardly surprising with the amount of dice that we're throwing about. What do you want to do for your final spell, or next spell?
Do the Choking Foe.
Choking Foe. This is one of the Cataclysm ones, and you have... well, all 3 you're in dominance at the minute because I don't have any fulcrums and you do. What's it cast on?
10.
Oh, it's only a 10. Okay.
Yep.
Which is cast. Casting it down here on these guys. Okay, so it's a leadership test on a minus.
Only at the end of the magic phase.
Oh, end of the magic phase, right. We'll resolve that one later then.
Oh, and I'll just do an invocation on my final spell.
Okay.
Cast.
Which is cast as well. And resolving the effects of this spell now at the end of the magic phase, so it's a leadership test on -3. You can still use old Croak's leadership. 6, so nothing happens. It's okay, and it remains in play, isn't it? So, yeah, that'll still be there next turn. That's it for magic. We don't have any shooting in this army. It's combat time. We've just got the one, which I think is going to be bye-bye skinks. We'll get that one rolled for. And we'll be back for turn 3. Lizardmen. Lizardmen, turn 3. Do we have a few charges? We'll just do the stupidity test. Oh no, I'll do the charges, I suppose. Declaring this one down into the ghouls. And my Scarvet is charging down into the fulcrum to try and topple that vampire. Do this one. 7 plus the 4, they hopefully be in. We'll try the Scarvet. He needs a bit more than that. 11, yeah, he's easily going to make that. Try and rally the big blob of skinks that are still going up there, who do not. We'll try and rally the one that's on his own. We do not. Movement complete. Both units of skinks having fled the board. Charges have gone in. This skink preparing to sell his life dearly in front of the frenzied bone grinder giant and the Razordon hoping to spew some barbs down into the back of the knights. Winds of magic. Oh, these guys failed their stupidity, predictably. Okay, 10, 12, not brilliant. Let's flick the dial. This time it is fire again, which is one that doesn't affect any of us. We are going to cast Croak's one spell that he knows, the Deliverance of Itza. It is very, very nasty if it goes off. We're not doing the boosted version, we're just doing the one that's cast on an 18. Rolling 5 dice at it. What was that? 8, 10, 16, 20. It is cast. He can cast this multiple times as well, so I do still have 7 dice left and potentially cast it again.
After the spell.
Quick maths. Yep, draw, so that one's dispelled. I'm going to try it again, but this time I'll throw 6 dice at it. That's not a particularly brilliant roll. 6, 8, 10, 20 again. Okay.
I've got 4 left, I'll throw them at it.
Yes, 10, 14. It's cast. So every unit within 18 inches, which we've measured, which is the ghouls, the zombies, and the VAR thing. We're saying it's not going to hit the ghouls because it's direct damage and you can't target units that are in combat. It doesn't target them, it hits all units, but given that direct damage doesn't work in combat, we're ignoring them, so we're just doing 3d6 on the zombies and the VAR, Gulf, Geist, whatever it is, up there. Rolling on the zombies first, 3d6 strength 4 hits is 10. 4, 5, 6. Oh, if I can find some dice. 10. Killing on 3s. That is not super bad, but 5 of them that are dead. And 3d6 on this guy up here for 8. We've managed to get 2 wounds on him. If he's got any kind of regen or anything to shrug them.
He doesn't, it's not flaming.
No, 2 wounds, 3. And with my 1 remaining power dice, I'm going to try and unbind this Bone Grinder Giant again. It's cast on a 3. Not enough power. Shooting was completed. We did absolutely nothing as expected. Combat, we resolved the one down here. 4 Saurus were slain. More ghouls were. Manfred was quite underwhelming, to be honest, but he's got 1 wound through for his power dice next turn. Ghouls lost the combat. And a few more crumbled. Now we're coming around to this big one here. It is the vampire who's swinging first with her fencer's blades and quick blood and all the nastiness. Good first ones, but I've got my secret Stegodon helm, bringing me +1 toughness. So 5s to wound. Oh dear, barely even adds up to 5. Yeah, time for Saurus Scarvet to swing back. Gar Veteran to attack back. He has 4 attacks with his great weapon, hitting on 4s. Just 2. Running on 2s, and I get to reroll these due to Law of Fire being an ascendancy, which is my prison one. Well, 2 that have wounded. You do still have the 3 up board save for being on top of there, though. Only failed 1 of them. And due to the unstable rule, that means you're losing 1 further wound. So, you go. Go on. Once again, this tower is not in possession of anybody. We've got 1 mage left each. Lord Croak and Manfred. Who's going to hold it at the end of the battle? Turn 3 for vampire counts coming up. Vampire counts, turn 3. We've had a few charges into the back of the cold ones who managed to pass their terror test and stayed firm. Same couldn't be said over on this side. The Bone Grinder Giant charging into the Skink who turned and fled. He redirected into the Razorgon, which also failed its terror test, fled, but not far enough. Black Knights have turned around. Black Coach, come over this side. That's it for movement. Let's roll for the Winds of Magic. Oh, so with the movement as well, this didn't, it rolled a hit this time, so it stayed exactly where it was. What are we looking for? That one's quite cocked. It's a 3.
I'm going to re-roll the 1 because I've mastered the Black Arts with Manfred.
Into a 2. And give us a spin on the old dial. Oh, we've got a new one this time. It is Light, which also affects nothing for today's game. And having just said, I'm not going to bother filming that first spell, Manfred tried to cast with 2 dice, and again has rolled this. So that's the end of the magic phase. We'll come back for combat. Combat has been resolved down here. Slugfest continues, lost another 6 Saurus. Managed to cut down more ghouls, and a few more crumbled, slowly diminishing each other down. Coming over on to this big combat. The monster stuff fighting. Swing in first.
It has hatred.
Okay.
So 5 3s.
That one is 1, so that's 3. Nope. So 3 wounds, 3 that are dead. The Saurus Riders swinging back, hitting on 4s. Got 3 swings for Predatory Fighter, which makes up nicely for those 3 that missed. Okay. Ugh. 5s to wound. Not a single one. Not a single one. Okay, let's hope that the cold ones can do better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3.
Regen.
Ooh, it's a 6-5. 2. 1 wound gone down. I think you'll have beat me on combat on that one because you killed a load and you've got a charge and a rear. You only took 1 wound, so we'll get my ones off. We'll work out the combat res. Swords have lost. Still stubborn due to the front rank. 8. Yeah. So 3. They are staying firm. That takes us to the end. Yeah, I'll take a test turn around on the same modifier. 4. Yeah, we're passing that one. That's it. That's the end of the turn. It's going to be turn 4, I think we're on now, for Lizardmen. Turn 4, we had no... Oh, we did have 1 charge, sorry. Saw a Scar Veteran has come down into these zombies. Big unit of Temple Guard and Croak have come forward. That reform was done at the end of last turn. And the Lone Skink is still fleeing for his life through the middle of the battlefield. Wins the magic. It's a pretty big one. Yep, and we'll try on this. It is life. Magic was a complete non-event, given that he only has one spell that he can cast. We tried it once, managed to miscast it, and did a wound on himself, and nothing to anybody else. So magic was pointless. Combat has not gone much better. The Saurus failed their fear test this time, lost 6 of their number again, only managed to kill 2 ghouls in return. They've lost the combat by 5, and they're on leadership 3, which they fail on 5-4-1. Take it you're going to be running me down.
Trying to.
I'm running 11. You're running 2. The other combats have also been resolved. Scar Veteran managing to do quite a lot of wounds through to the zombies. A few more crumbled as well. And up here, they did lose 2 more of their number, but the cold ones managed to bring it down. We're forming round to take a charge from the Black Coach. Vampire Count's turn 4. Some horrible charges coming in this time. We've got the Ghouls, who are declaring a charge on the Saurus, who have to flee. And the Black Knights charging on the Saurus, who have to flee. And Black Coach charging down on the cold ones, who are going to be holding. Rolling for the moving portal, which moves 5 inches. I think the book said if it hits a unit, it doesn't move. So we'll double check with that one. It may well still be staying put. And then we'll roll to see how far these guys flee. 9 inches. Black Coach has charged in. This is where the Saurus end up after initially fleeing from these guys and then fleeing from these. Bone Grinder Giant is chasing down towards that last skink. We've got Winds of Magic. That's a pretty good roll. And do you want to... Oh, I'll give it a flick this time. What have we got? It's the Law of Life. Midway through the magic phase, quite a few spells that have gone off. We've got Doom and Darkness and Soul Blight down on these. Tried to dispel some of them without success. Also a Benells on these guys, allowing them to do their move. Still got quite a few dice left. What are you trying now?
We'll start with a Spirit Leech on Croak.
Okay.
Cast.
5. How many dice you still got?
4.
Ooh. Wow. Yep, that's dispelled.
Then we'll do the Caress of Lanith on Croak. It's cast.
I don't have anything else to dispel now.
So 2d6 minus his strength hits.
So it's 8. He's strength 3.
Comes 2.
Yeah.
6 hits.
6 hits.
Wound on a 4 plus.
5.
4 saves. He's lost 3 wounds.
That's 3. We already lost 1 earlier as well from a miscast that I did on one of my turns. So he's down 4 wounds. 2 left.
2 power dice back.
More power dice. And trying Fate on him as well. Oh, it's definitely cast irresistibly. Resolve the spell. 2d6 minus my toughness. 9. I'm toughness 5, but down to 4. So it's 5.
Moving on 2. 5 wards.
I think this could be the end of Captain Croak. Yeah, I guess we could say he croaked it. I'm rolling the miscast for Manfred. What's he done to himself? 7. Turn 4 is over for the vampire counts. Combat down here, managed to kill a couple more. They did nothing back and a few more crumbled. Down here, the cold ones were decimated by the black coach. I mean, they can't do anything back to it anyway with its ethereal nature. Things are looking pretty grim for the Lizardmen. They cannot win the game now because they have no wizards left, and only wizards can get onto the arcane fulcrum. So they've got no chance of getting onto it themselves. The question is whether they can stop Manfred from getting onto it and unleashing his unholy power. Lizardmen turn 5. This is just a summary. There wasn't a whole lot to do in the turn. Managed to rally the Saurus, who turned around to face the threat this way. The Skink continued to run on. The Trolls actually passed their stupidity test and have turned around, but the Arcane Fulcrum continued its journey down this way and is kind of pinning them in. The Scarvet did manage to kill off the last 3 zombies, and this unit have reformed round in the magic phase, just managed to dispel Doom and Darkness. And that was it for Lizardmen turn 5. 1.5 turns left. Vampire counts turn 5. Vampire counts, Black Knights have gone charging in, as has the Giant. Terror test was passed there. Little Skink was charged by the Black Coach, obviously had to keep fleeing, and Manfred has run out of his big bodyguard unit of ghouls, hoping to jump on to the Arcane Fulcrum next turn. Winds of Magic. How strong are they blowing? You can re-roll one of those if you want with his magic ability thing, but leave them as they are. Let me give this one a spin. And we've got... Death. One that's going to boost you. Cool. Due to the law of death being ascendant, Manfred was casting on a +9. So it was brutal. We've got Purple Sun off, which completely annihilated the River Trolls. We've had Soul Blight, Doom and Darkness. We've done various other snipey magic ones down on the Scar Veteran, who's just got 1 wound left. That was absolutely horrific. And for all the wounds he was causing, with the law attribute, he was then getting more dice to keep casting, and he was only needing to throw 1 or 2 dice at a spell because it's +9. That was horrible. Let's see how you do in combat. The Saurus were horribly cut down by the Black Knights. They turned and fled. The Knights not quite managing to catch them. Over here, many Temple Guard were slain to the vomit attack from the Bone Grinder Giant. He then fell over and managed to squish another 6. He's lost a few wounds. I could get a few on him, but I took massive casualties. Managed to pass the break test, even with the minus from Doom and Darkness. But things are not looking good for the Lizardmen. That's it for the end of Vampire Counts turn 5. Lizardmen have got, quite literally, 1 more throw of the dice to see if they can stop Manfred claiming his throne. Lizardmen, turn 6, final turn. This is an important roll now as we roll to see where this Arcane Fulcrum goes. Ooh, 11 inches over this way. I don't know whether Manfred's going to be able to catch it there. We'll get it moved, and then I'll work out if I'm going to do any suicidal charges or not. Flight of the Saurus and Skink continues. Didn't manage to rally either of them. Have moved the Scar Veteran just to stand right in front of Manfred and just be a bit annoying. I couldn't charge him as I couldn't see him. Just got to hope that this moves the wrong way for Manfred in the start of Vampire Counts turn. The only positive was Magic Phase. We got enough dice to be able to dispel Doom and Darkness because we couldn't use them for anything else. And the Temple Guard decimated the Bone Grinder Giant. On rolls to wound, I got 7 6s, which chopped him to pieces. So he's gone. But it won't matter if Manfred can climb up onto that Arcane Fulcrum next turn. Vampire counts turn 6. Manfred can see the throne, but at the start of the turn it gets up to move. Where's it going? This is game deciding. It stays where it is. I think that's further than 6 inches away. I don't think he's going to be able to get into it. We'll double check. If he can, it's a victory for them. If he can't, it's a draw. Enraged that the arcane fulcrum is just out of his reach, Manfred has unleashed his magical might down onto the remnants of this Lizardman army. Saurus Scar Veteran destroyed. The Fleeing Skink destroyed. Did manage to dispel a couple of spells down here, but it's still looking a bit grim on this unit, who have been combined charged from the Ghouls and the Black Coach. They've also got Hellish Vigour that was successfully cast on them. Up here, the Black Knights charged the Fleeing Saurus and ran them down. So it all comes down to this final combat now, just to see whether the Lizardmen are going to have anything left to tell the tale of this battle. After the impact hits, the steeds, the poisoned ghouls, everything, only 4 Saurus Temple Guard remained. So many cut down there. Couldn't pass that leadership test. It was a -10 after the combat res. They turned and fled, were cut down by both the ghouls and the Black Coach. That is it. That's the end of turn 6. Not a single Lizardman left on the board, but crucially, Manfred has not been able to climb atop that arcane fulcrum. As per the mission rules, it's a draw. This is where Manfred wanted to be, and with time, no doubt, he did eventually climb up there, but by that point the winds had changed and were not blowing the same way. Huge amount of vampire counts still left and not a single Lizardman. That game was brutal. The magic, we didn't really get to show you many of the Cataclysm spells. You saw a couple at the start and sort of how powerful they could be, and significantly what happens when they go wrong and your little skink priests get filled with power and anger and hate and abandon their position and run off in a berserk rage. The magic, when it went right, was what really made a difference for these guys. Their +9 to cast at times was absolutely horrendous, but really fun game. Nice to play things that are a little bit different. Ends up as a draw, although as Jay's just mentioned, really what he should have done towards the latter of the game, instead of running for this one with Manfred, is run for the arcane fulcrum that was in his deployment zone, because there is a spell that lets you hop between them. Sure, I'd have tried to dispel it, but if he got it off, he would have ended up on there and maybe would have had a better chance, wouldn't have been trying to chase it around the board. Hope you enjoyed watching that one, our first Storm of Magic. If you liked it, drop us a comment, let us know. We'll try and get some more booked in as well. They're not going to replace all of our regular games, but it's fun to put them in once in a while and keep things different. As ever, please give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe if you're not already, drop a comment, it really does help us out, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.